Hello guys, and welcome back to Power and Revolution 2019 edition with our playthrough as China here. In the last episode we took over Mongolia, which as you can see is all these many different states over here. On the mission of reducing costs, I am going to go ahead and take one more star out of hospital treatment and instead reassign that somewhere else where it could be more useful while saving us a little bit of cash. Like if we go all in on prevention and vaccine here, we're trading 1 star for 4. It affects different things, but this will help with yesterday. I made note of how many plagues were going on in the world. This will actually help with that pretty well, and it will save us a good amount of money here. And let's confirm that. And alright, cool. There might be a little bit of outcry against that, but that has helped our budget. And that will help certain other things. Maybe just less help the actual money of our population. But as we take a look at the people living below the poverty line, as you can see, it's a very, very low number. Well, guys, fellow
esteemed citizens, our current situation is critical. Faced with repeated provocations from this rogue
Denmark
threatening both our country and the international community.
Holy
shit. I have made a conscious decision to declare war.
Denmark just declared war on Canada because of how Greenland was getting involved in these weird back and forth bickerings that Canada was having with everyone. Also, yeah, health got me a little bit of negative publicity, but Denmark and Greenland, because Greenland is a dependency of Denmark, just went to war with Canada. I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know if there's going to be mass mobilization or if it's just, not going to go anywhere. But that's definitely something big. Just to confirm how big this is, a NATO country just declared war on a NATO country. That means more than likely one of these NATO countries is probably going to get kicked out of NATO, which would be funny. Well, it looks like for whatever good it does them, Denmark is mobilizing, as you can see, a small amount of troops bit by bit. Their military is not the largest. Their troops are minuscule. Their equipment is probably also minuscule. Greenland is only a dependency, so I can only assume that their military might is equally poor. They seem to have at least a little bit of military. Yeah, look at this. 2 troops. 2 troops sailing out to meet 3 Canadian tanks. And the Canadians do have some troops out, but I don't know what they're actually going anywhere for or to do. Whatever the case, a war has been declared, and troops are moving out to take part in the war. What the hell is this carrier moving around for? You'd think the British are about to start fighting the Canadians too, which would be kind of hilarious. Well, guys, it's happened. Canada has been excluded from NATO and the International Criminal Court, even though, from what I could tell, Denmark is the one that declared war. I find this so weird. Major demonstrations unite the nation after Canadian attack. Calls for prayer that peace may reign. Condemns Canadian attack. This is amazing that this happened. Because of the Korean War, there was some miscommunication by the AI, couldn't path any other way, did something wrong, and now Canada is out of NATO. If we go check it here, we go to NATO, Canada is out of NATO. Meaning, if we select Canada and we go to alliances, and I have to, I hate that I can't do this the other way. Okay, Canada. And we see they have no alliance with anybody anymore. In fact, they are just at war with people. Not even at war. They have conflicts with France, the US, Denmark, and a lot of dependencies. So we're probably going to see Canada die. Maybe. Maybe not. Even if we don't see Canada die, Canada is officially no longer safe. They are not protected by NATO. They are easy pickings for anyone that wants to attack them. In fact, maybe I should do something like that. Get some troops over here ready to go into Ottawa. Sniping Canada would be a task, though, because I'd have to set up over here, it wouldn't be such an easy war. It wouldn't be like, oh man, just go jump on Canada right now. Canada has more military equipment than they have actual troops. Their troops are minuscule. But there would be no way to easily position my troops without having treaties with the United States to be able to just snipe Ottawa. And while the commandos aren't working the way that they're intended to work for me, it would be a bit more hefty of a war. It would require some projection of power, you know? Like, I'd have to set up some bases over here, probably Cuba, Mexico, to even start to get ready for that. I'd have to then attack Halifax and use this as a base to keep shipping more troops in while I fight my way to Ottawa. So while I know some people seeing this are going to be like, oh man, just go attack them right now while they're weak, while they don't have any protection, you know? That's not going to be the smartest thing to do. Of course, owning Canada would be amazing because it would be like right next to the US. At the same time, if I do nothing and Canada survives this and all of their conflicts come to an end, I could befriend Canada and use them as a kind of a dual surrounding of the US, and in fact use Mexico and Canada to destroy the US in the future. So that's my thinking. The United States discovers AI voice recognition and conversation degree 1. Scientific revolution, first time it's ever been researched, so that's probably something we'll end up getting soon, maybe. I've yet to actually pour any new money into research, but I haven't had to because, look, there's only one discovery in the world we don't have, and some of the discoveries we have, nobody else has.
Scientific rigor has proved.
Well, we did it. We got rid of the Chinese Democratic Movement. However, we've taken over Mongolia, meaning... Oh, wait, no. Mongolia didn't give me any new illegal organizations. Only Bhutan, of all people. And it took them a while. It took us a while to get rid of them. And the leader of North Korea, Chang Woo-choi, wants to make a meeting. Is this guy liked at all? Last I checked him, he had literally zero popularity, unless that guy's been killed and this guy is new. No, this is the same guy that replaced Kim Jong-un, and he has 0% popularity.
Good morning. I didn't come empty-handed.
We got our meeting with North Korea here, and it looks like it's a trade meeting. What does he want? He wants to sell me iron. He does have a much better price for it. His production is higher than his consumption. My production and consumption are pretty close. This could help our economy, but let's see if we can get a better price. I'm going to start real low, though. We're going to give him 100 and send that over. No? Okay, well, he doesn't want to negotiate, so we're coming up on the end of the year here, and our growth and inflation are honestly looking so good. I'm going to take this one step further, and I'm going to lower the key interest rate a little radically down to 5%. From 7.5%. That may boost inflation a little depending on the status of our currency in the economy, but it will definitely raise growth, and that will create a much better end of year calculation for our economy than waiting until after to do it. Also, we got a new technology creation of robotic communication, so that's awesome. Just to show you guys what I was talking about, by the way, we come over here to the epidemic screen, and the chance of a major uncontrollable pandemic, as you see, has started plummeting. Absolutely plummeting. Pretty much in line with my raising of my vaccine funding. Like I said, that one has a huge effect on this, and it's now plummeting back to where it was at the start of the game. The main reason I show you this is I just remembered because I just saw that some place in the world, Comoros, is having cholera. So this is the effect on our economics. Inflation has not gone up, really. In fact, I think it's gone down still. Our growth is much higher now. And the reason that happened, by the way, like, you'd think it wouldn't go down, right? It's inflation. If I do an inflationary action, such as lowering the interest rate, why would inflation go down? Well, it's because inflation is also tied to the amount of your currency that is in demand. When you lower the interest rate and this is like a mini economic tutorial, I guess. You are introducing more of your currency into the economy by encouraging your citizens or those that have your currency to spend more. If there is not enough of your currency in the economy, then this actually doesn't have a negative effect on inflation, such as, hyperinflating it. However, if there is too much of your currency in the economy, then changing it either which way might still just raise your inflation, while hurting your growth even. Because that is not the case, our growth went up and our inflation actually went down. As opposed to how you'd expect it to go, growth goes up, inflation goes up. It looks like Denmark is finally going to have its first clash with the Canadian Army, or Navy, I guess, after declaring war, and now this is popping up. This should be the first clash right here. Yep, there you go. They were sank, and 3 helicopters got shot down. Denmark and Canada's conflict is renewed. United States and Canada are having some more bickering, I guess. What's this over here? Damn, that's a lot of Canadians killed. But what exactly... Oh my god, the US has been shooting down containers and cargo planes and all sorts of shit. It's a raging conflict, but they haven't declared war. There is no active war between the US and Canada. Although Canada is kind of strategically redeploying its troops. I don't even understand what's happening here. I'm curious, if I go to the military power of the world and I look at Canada, they're number 67. So, they don't stand a chance against many powers they would fight. They seem to stand more of a chance against Denmark than anyone. It looks like Greenland's army, those 2 infantry we saw going out, probably got killed by that tank. And that was probably literally their entire army. Because on the map, it looks like they're the only country without an army right now. So Greenland's army is literally completely dead. Denmark is weaker than Canada, but Canada also still risks war with France and the United States, 2 of the strongest countries in existence. I like how my military power score has been going up, despite me losing troops and only gaining some shitty military hardware from forever ago. It looks like North Korea's military power is actually recovering from their war that they had, so that's pretty interesting. South Korea, on the other hand, still has a lower number than they had at the start of the game. So North Korea is rebuilding militarily. South Korea is not. At least not as much. Oh, well, that's something that's been happening, I guess, that I haven't seen. Some US troops were deploying somewhere and some Canadian helicopters went to intercept, and it looks like both forces died. So there definitely is active fighting between the US and Canada that has somehow not sparked a war. I don't know how the AI do this. Anytime I so much as trespass, the other nation prepares for war. If I kill 1 unit, it's suddenly a war declaration. But the AI can have these weird back and forth skirmishes that the players just can't necessarily have. Oh, we do have fighting here. US tanks versus Canadian naval forces. Tanks at sea stand no chance against Canadian naval forces. And resultingly, they all died. They did some damage, they killed some folks. The Canadian ships won, as you can expect. These guys might cross with them too. They looked like they were heading somewhere. It doesn't even look like they were going to attack them. They just ran into them. And because there's a raging conflict, that resulted in actual fighting. The fact that these skirmishes are going, but a larger conflict is not breaking out, is actually rather surprising. I feel like we're just waiting for this tipping point where the US declares war and then you see Canada get wiped off the map. That would be interesting to watch all the population of Canada and all the land and all the economy get pushed into the United States. That would make the United States quite a bit more fearsome, I think, in the long run. Oh, and as you can see, the election has passed, I guess, which is weird. There's a new president. But that's kind of strange because the election doesn't end in November. Presidents don't get inaugurated until January after the election. But I guess the French developers probably don't understand that, or they just don't want to make, a realistic representation of it. I don't know. But hey, we're in 2021 finally. And we had 5.54% growth by the end of the year. Our GDP is way higher than it's ever been before. We are expanding our GDP. Like, the US is no match for our GDP. If I actually show you guys in the finance screen here, percentage of world share, we started out at like 16%, and we've just been going up and up and up and up, and now we're at about 19% of the world's share of GDP, with the US at 22%. Our GDP numbers have been going up, I think, a lot faster than the United States. Of course, if they took Canada, I bet that would help them. Well, we did end up with a cash surplus at the end of the year, $56.9 billion, an accumulation in treasury reserves. Accumulate interest at 0.56%. So are we out of debt? The game is not communicated that well. Okay, last I checked, we had over $100 billion in debt, but apparently we are out of debt now. We have a treasury reserve of $22.25 million, and now every quarter, if we maintain a budgetary excess, we will accumulate even more into our treasury, which we will then earn an interest on. That is good. We have finally escaped debt at the start of 2021. It took 2 years. The leader of Kazakhstan wishes to meet with me, or I guess this isn't the leader, no, this is the leader. And I guess he's probably going to ask me something about trading. I'm probably going to try to negotiate, and it's probably not going to go very well. And Indonesia's having a drought. Interesting. So it looks like some things have changed. Our inflation has leveled out currently at 2.3, and our growth has gone down to a 3% annual projection. I think this happened last time, that it was surprisingly low at the start, but I'm going to give it like at least another tick or two of calculation to see if it goes back up, because this is an end of year projection and it constantly changes, especially at the start of the year. And we've discovered an anti-leprosy vaccine. That's nice. And yeah, budget surplus. The debt service or annual reimbursement will rise by the new year to minus $34.8 billion. Okay. I don't know what that means. Our total public debt, that is to say the engagements of the state in terms of loans, rises to 22 Wait, what the hell are you talking about? I don't have a... Oh, I do have a public debt. How can I have a public debt without having debt? Look at that. I have no... Wait a minute. Is it with one of these boys? IMF, World Bank. It's with the World Bank. So I do still have debt, but it's only to the World Bank, and it's at $270 million. So I guess when you're not in debt with any countries, but only international organizations, that you can still accumulate a treasury reserve. That's kind of weird. I don't know how that works or why that works like that, but this is an amount of debt that should be gone by the end of the year or the next quarter at the very least. Unemployment rate and our meeting with the leader of Kazakhstan. They want to sell me beef, okay? You gonna give me a better price for that, I hope. Let's go down to like send that over. Okay, you're willing to negotiate a little bit. 2,300. Negotiate. 2,000. I'm not being as min-maxy as I could with this. 2,300. 2,400. Negotiate. It looks like you'll meet me at 2,500. So that's a slightly better price for a little bit of stuff that we don't make enough of. Perfect. That will provide some goods and a little bit of friendship with Kazakhstan to make sure they stay friendly with us. Well, we are now suffering another disaster. It's a cold spell. Mobilize all emergency centers, particularly in Beijing, which will be the most affected. Well, hopefully not too many are fucked up, I guess. What's my spending in that area? Cold spell, cold spell. There's absolutely no way to spend on that whatsoever. I want to imagine that goes 1-in-1 with heat wave, but I don't know. Either way, we are having a cold spell, which is apparently... Actually, it's not centered anywhere. Oh yeah, it is, right here. If it's here, then how can it be sent... How can it affect Beijing the most? How do we go from 2 dead to 54, just like that? I don't know, whatever. It's population control, at least. My population's growing so fucking rapidly. I'm fine with this. Well, the final death count of that cold spell is 207. For a population of nearly 1.5 billion, it's really not that bad. And estimated compensation is about 5 billion. I will provide 6 billion. And hopefully that will be enough. Last time I did more like that and it still wasn't enough. Nope. See, it lied to me again. It lied to me again. So let's throw another 100 million at that. Okay, now it's taken care of. Good, good. After the first economic tick, our inflation is going back down again and our growth seems to be holding at 3%, which means we are open to actually stimulating our economy again. Actually, a second tick just went by and inflation went down some more and growth is still holding. Actually, I think it went down by like 0.02. We can definitely do something economy-wise now. I think the first thing I'm going to try to do here in terms of, spending is I need to get more military equipment, and I do want to modernize the shittier equipment we're getting. So, but with the current production, I still can't make things in an insane amount of bulk and then expect to get them too soon. So I'm going to set 116 tanks to build. Tier 3, our current max tier, it's going to cost approximately $500 million. And maybe start scrapping the older tanks that I have. Yeah, as we can see here, we've acquired 120 rank 1 tanks, so I'm going to build those 116 and I'm going to dismantle these 120. And then that should maybe help us at least stay modern, make up the difference. Eventually, I do want to expand my military to just being the biggest, largest, and most badass in the world, but that is as money and economy allows. I'm going to purchase some more military equipment because the tank order really didn't affect my economy very much, and I'm just gonna... I don't know how much to order, actually. Maybe I should just order 50 to start until the production value gets up a little more, just in case. Yeah, let's just order 50 helicopters for now because helicopters are actually a really attainable goal, like if I have the money, and I do, for achieving the largest helicopter fleet in the world, because to get there I only have to get to 1800 and I'm already at 600. So I'm going to order 50 and then maybe very shortly after I see the impact order another 50.
Good morning. I didn't come.
Well, I have a meeting with Vietnam here because they probably want to sell me something. Sugarcane. You want to sell me sugarcane. More and more countries really are trying to sell me stuff, which is surprising considering I'm China. And since the start of this playthrough, my imports have gone way down and my exports have gone way up. Well, let's see what we could do here. So what do you want to give me? You want to make up some of my lack of production of sugarcane, since you have such a high production, and you have a much better price. But how much are you willing to negotiate here? Because if I'm going to get a better price, and it has to be a much better price. All right, so you've gone to 39. I'll meet you at 33. Yeah, I'll meet you at 33. Ooh, you're not moving too much, huh? What about 35? 37? Oh, all right. Well, meet me at 37 exactly, and we have a deal. All right, cool. Bit of a better price for some sugarcane right there.
Sure.
That should help make certain things cheaper and more affordable in my country. What's the status of our alliance here? Alright, I got pretty much everything in your country. You want to give me like a base? No? Alright, well fuck you. Get out of my face. If I take a look here, our inflation is actually taking a pretty big nosedive and our current orders aren't affecting our economy too greatly, which means I have more wiggle room to order more stuff. So we're going to order another 50 of these helicopters, which would get the production going way up. And then when I'm going to order more, I can start ordering in the hundreds until I have ordered enough to probably get me to around 1,800 or maybe to clean 2,000 so that I can position myself as having the largest helicopter fleet in the world. This isn't something you see too often. I looked at the map and just found like an ass load of terrorists just chilling out in the open up here in northwest Afghanistan. Just completely unopposed, just chilling out. They seem to have reached the northwest instead of just being in the south like I saw them before. That's pretty interesting. The Afghanistan war is never ending unless you try to end it yourself as the US or a country on the outside. And the best part is, fighting it is the worst way to try to end it. You can end it without losing a single life if you just utilize your secret service. So I've started sending out some troops here using the multi-order mode, and I'm sending them out over to this little border near Nepal in order to set up a military camp temporarily, just a camp that I can tear down later, just so I can allocate my troops, fly them over to right here, and then have them beeline it for the capital to make the war with Nepal as quick and as painless as possible when it starts. I might be getting a little too close to the border, which Nepal may see as like aggressive or something. I don't know. Let me make it more like right here. There you go. Set up that camp over there so that we're ready when the time comes, which I believe that time will be next episode. As you see, I've gone from November to February already. A lot of time has passed. My money situation is a lot better. And I'm even getting started on building new troops. This is the kind of development I wanted to have happen before I started going deep into invading a bunch more countries. But I think I'm getting to that point where I am ready to snipe or attempt to snipe Nepal, despite the fact that they have a rather large army of nearly 100,000. Like, who knows how much equipment. Only 9 helicopters in this airbase, though. Most of their equipment is probably... well, actually, might not be very much. I don't have anything over here to check this one out, but my satellites show me very little in the way of tanks and other things elsewhere. They have 16,000 troops already in the city, though. That's a pretty big deal. So I want to make sure they're cyber attacked for sure when I go in there. Otherwise, they might be able to slaughter my troops fighting over this town. So looking at the number of tanks, I see that aside from Russia's way inflated number of their tanks, the person with the most amount of tanks is the US at only 7.3k, and we're almost 4. And we're so close to hitting that already. I'm going to work on that and the helicopters at the same time. I'm going to set a goal for 7,500 or 8,000 tanks for the time being to kind of assert our dominance with that, maybe go as high as 10,000. I don't see a need to try to beat Russia yet just because it would take so long to get that many tanks. But I'm going to go ahead and definitely order some more tanks, balance that with the helicopter building. I've already ordered that 116. What happens if I order 200? Don't get them till 2023. 100, 2022, not that bad. I'm going to order them just in the hundreds for now at the start while the production's still going up, which it is going up rather quickly as we try to aim just for 8,000, let's say, right now. And now that I'm ordering a bunch of military goods, my paper is going to be flooded with this shit. Signs historic economic contract for a total of X amount of money. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to set up a military camp, so I've just decided to send my troops back. I don't know why I wasn't able to send them back, or to set up a camp, because I've done it before. Maybe it only works on someone else's territory. Maybe it doesn't work on your own territory. So what I'll probably do is just ship all the troops I need over here and then multi-order them over there for when I need them. Apparently Egypt had their intelligence service in my country, and a couple of them were found and eliminated. I don't think the whole network is gone. I don't think I've ever really raised my spending too much on counterintelligence. So the fact that it's going so well is honestly pretty nice. Alright guys, but I think we have a full episode here. It's been a good, very nice developmental episode. We've spanned months in this episode, and I've already sent a bunch of troop movements in order that I can show you guys here. Like thousands and thousands of troops, as you can see, are moving. Here's another batch of a couple thousand. All moving down here to this military base, getting ready to storm Nepal, which I'll probably do that next episode. We'll add Nepal to our list of, well, things we've conquered. It's a one state, one province kind of country, instead, like, unlike Mongolia, which was a bunch of different, like, separate states. More like Bhutan, which is literally just one for the whole country, which is a lot easier to deal with, as you can see. At least for management purposes, if you want to look at the information and make sure they have what they need. That being said, one final thing I am going to do while ending this episode is I am going to go ahead and order off camera another about 100 tanks. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.